Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Jessie Johnson. I just came here to show my support for the mayor because there's been so much talk about what's going on and the things that he's not doing. And I feel like he's doing a lot for the community. And I feel like a lot of people are standing in his way, that he can't get anything done because so many people are standing in his way because they don't want him to be successful. And I'm here to show my support. And I hope that the people will stop standing in his way so he can get some things done. Where was the people when Rahm Emanuel was in here? Why didn't nobody stand up to him? Where were the people with Mayor Daley who ripped this city apart? Why didn't they stand up to him? But everybody wants to stand up to him and tell him what he's not doing right and what he's not doing properly. And these people ripped this city off. That's why it's in the shape that it's in. But now you want to blame him for everything. I think it needs to stop, and I think it's sinful what you're doing to this mayor. And I think it needs to stop right now because you didn't stand up all this courage coming from all these people. Where was it when Manuel was here? Where was it when Daley was here? It was nowhere to be found. So I think you need to give him a chance and let him do his job.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is Mario Phillips.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't have a lot to say, but Doge, they recently reported an estimate of $65 billion in savings. And I know you go to Capitol Hill next month. If they would propose to you, we'll give you $20 billion to rescind the sanctuary city status. Would you rescind it? Because $20 billion can be used a lot. It could be used even in a municipal bankruptcy, like Mike Duggan did in Detroit in his first term. So it's not about how long you've been, it's about the usage of it. Because in 2010, we was about $14 billion in debt in the pensions. Now we have the 33, that's almost a 300% per gain. And I don't understand people don't understand how important it is to become solvent. Because if we default on the loan, the whole city falls. So that's how you restructure the debt, by actually dealing with it, because it takes a strong will to make a right decision. And that's what you're going to need to do with that. Also, 1% of the city is 1% of the population works for the city. Us in the private sector, we shouldn't be subsidizing these pensions. We in defined contribution plans. You all a defined benefit. That means I can't retire when I want to retire if the market falls. But you can retire whenever you at will, and you won't even feel the effect of that. That's not right to us. So some of that money also, if they was to give it to you, you could lobby so they could change pension laws at the state level, so that could free us up. And another thing, what we could probably do with that money if they did propose that to you. Only like 1 or 2% of the schools have like HVAC, welding, or even electrician. It don't make sense for a kid to go to school for 13 years and not graduate with an income earning skill. Why all the schools don't have dual enrollment? Why all the schools don't have more trades in them? It's 157 schools, and it's only 1% or 2% of them that can do that. So if they put that deal on the table, because you can see he's an administration that's willing and dealing and willing to negotiate, would you say, give me $20 billion, I'll take this off the table so we can help the city flourish? Because if we default, we already was in junk status in 2015. And some of the aldermen were here, and that's why we probably got our credit score low last month, because some of them here, you can't put new wine in old wineskin. You can't do that, or you ruin the whole wineskin. So now you want to borrow another $830 million, and they just lowered our credit rating last month? That's not making sense. So if we don't kick the can down, it's going to be a bigger issue later on down the road.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker this morning is George Blakemore.
Brandon Johnson, Mayor Brandon Johnson, do not go up to Congress talking about sanctuary. You support the sanctuary. They will trick you. It's about the money. You have used some federal money for sanctuary. Now, I've been around for 83 years. Now, I've seen many mayors, but now you have a rating of 6%. So I'm urging you to don't let them trap you. And sanctuary. If anyone needs sanctuary, black people need it. This is Black History Month. Our history, we are entitled to sanctuary for all the goods, service, contracts, and jobs. Mr. Blakemore, what makes the black man so unique? He's the only man in America who was enslaved in America. Enslaved in America. So you are a unique man. So you must embrace your uniqueness. Now, everyone here, 99% of the people here, these arguments are Democrats. Democrats. And now you go into another circle with Republicans, with Reverend Trump. Don't you go up there and with that sanctuary. He's going to use another strategy. I'm just begging you because you're playing a losing card. Even the people in the city of Chicago, they don't want sanctuary. They don't want it. Look at the empty seats. Look at the empty seats. They don't want it. We don't want it. So don't go there because I'm so scared that you might be indicted. They started asking you questions about the money. Money is the root of all evil. So you would have to make an account of the money. And I don't think you will win when Trump men started asking you these questions. So you know what happened to the mayor in New York? He decided to surrender. And it's time for you to surrender and for you to smell your blood. You are a black man. You are a black man. You was a black man, a little black boy, before you became a Democrat. You're still black, and racism is still alive in the city of Chicago. Embrace your black.
Thank you very much for your comments. Osiris King.
Hello, Mr. Mayor Brandon Johnson. As we close out Black History Month, let's talk about some real black history. A. Philip Randolph was a black labor activist who opposed immigration. Booker T. Washington and Frederick Douglass were prominent black people in America who opposed immigration because they saw what immigration does to the black community. So this charade that you're doing with Donald Trump and Tom Homan, we see through it. It is a farce. Black people have always been against immigration, legal and illegal, because a lot of poor black people are at the low-wage labor market, and we don't need foreigners taking our jobs and competing with us. So being fighting against illegal immigration is the most black thing you can do. It is the pro-blackest thing you can do is fighting illegal immigration. Don't let them tell you otherwise. Mayor Brandon Johnson, I am so happy that you are testifying before Congress because the people of Chicago, especially on the south and west side, do not support sanctuary cities. I know the election is over and people are trying to distract you with lunatics protesting against deportations and Democrats doing what Democrats do. But do not forget that we in Chicago do not support sanctuary cities, especially the people who live on the south and west side who had our schools turned into migrant shelters. And for all the people who are mad about Trump getting rid of DEI and critical race theory, those things were racist. You cannot fight past discrimination with future discrimination. If Martin Luther King saw what the Democratic Party has become, he would roll over in his grave. We want to know where that money went. $400 million to illegal aliens. People talk about, oh, reparations this and reparations that, and you have Democrats talking about all this stuff. They need to talk about where that money went, because that's where their money went. It's complete insanity. And might I say this, a lot of people say Donald Trump is anti-black. Donald Trump has acknowledged that birthright citizenship was meant for black people, for newly freed black slaves. That's black history. Democrats want to give it to immigrants. Donald Trump has said that illegals compete with black people for jobs. Democrats look the other way. Donald Trump has said that criminal illegal aliens should be deported out of poor black communities, while Democrats like Mayor Brandon Johnson and others fight tooth and nail to keep them here. They are not for black people. They are not. So y'all can call me a sellout for being black and a Trump supporter. That's fine. But y'all token DEI Democrats are a threat to democracy. Y'all are the crazy ones. So please tell me, to all the people who call me a sellout for voting for Trump, which one of us is really selling out, brother?
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker this morning is Daniel Beland.
Good morning, City Council and Mayor. I know many people are here today to express their frustration with how the city is being run and how our tax dollars are being spent. But I'm here to say thank you. As the Executive Director of the Committee for Chicago Mayor Recall, I want to thank you for demonstrating exactly why a mayoral recall mechanism should be law in Chicago. From day one, your values have not reflected those of everyday Chicagoans. Instead, they align with CTU puppet masters and radical activists who sow distrust and division. A mayor should unite the city and prioritize public safety. You have done the opposite. Your administration includes an anti-Semitic, anti-law enforcement external affairs officer, a chief of staff who believes in peace circles will solve sexual harassment, and a senior advisor who allegedly committed election fraud in Texas and lacks a legitimate Chicago residence. Your leadership is failing, and the results speak for themselves. You say you don't do raggedy, but your leadership has been exactly that. Chicagoans, regardless of race, income, or religion, want to feel safe in their homes, on their streets, and in their schools. Yet under your watch, armed juvenile thugs continue to carjack, loot, and rob. You canceled ShotSpotter without a backup plan, endangering 2/3 of the city's population. Since that time, 34 people have died. That blood's on your hands and on the Vasquez 19 Progressive Caucus who supported you on that. You also failed to disclose your conflict of interest in CPS contract talks, benefiting from a deal while replacing the school board with unvetted CTU loyalists, firing CEO Martinez days before Christmas for refusing a reckless payday loan proves your priorities lie in union politics, not student success. The only ones benefiting from a better, safer, stronger Chicago are criminals and special interests. A recent poll shows you're at a dismal 6.6 approval rating, with support collapsing across all racial and ethnic groups. Given this overwhelming rejection and the loss of the confidence of the Chicago people, I'm demanding your immediate resignation. Your administration is incompetent, Chicago deserves better, and Little Dirk deserves his money back. He needs it for commissary. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is John Cantazera.
Good morning, Mayor Henyard. Good morning. Oh, wrong city, but it will be the same end result. Someone already talked about the 6.5% approval rating. I want to remind you, you were elected by half, roughly, 52% of 600,000 Chicagoans. That's about 12% of the population. You are literally at 6.5%. Donald Trump could run for mayor of Chicago right now and beat you. That's how unpopular you are and ridiculous this city has become. Before I talk about your esteemed Sergeant at Arms and his illegal policies for public speaking, I want to talk about this bond vote you're all going to take. $800 million with a $2 billion end price tag. Ridiculous. Why? So the king grifter over there can give his girl Stacey Gates, who has been to his house several times to backdoor negotiate contract proposals, can get her pound of flesh out of the city taxpayers. Well, the reality is, you talked about other labor leaders being on a leave of absence. while they serve as president, and you're no different as the mayor. Are you really that clueless? Are your fifth graders you used to teach really that much brighter than you? You're the mayor. You're negotiating on behalf of the city. You are not representing the membership, but you are because you're still technically a member of CTU while you're negotiating a contract for the taxpayers of this city. Where is the Inspector General? Where are the rest of you holding him accountable for this? He should be forced to fully resign from CTU while these negotiations are going on. It is a direct conflict of interest, but you're all sitting on your hands and your asses doing nothing. I'm just telling you, for those of you who think you're going to vote yes for this ridiculous bond issue, just know we have a giant PAC fund that will continue to grow at FOP 7, and you will all be on the target list. We will recruit candidates, and we will not be able to take maybe all of you out, but we're certainly going to target anybody that votes yes for this. And you're going to say, what has this got to do with the police? We are taxpayers, and many of us are the primary taxpayers in this city. So my members are sick of getting a decent contract and then having it stolen out of their back pocket in the same sentence. It will end, or your political careers will. I can assure you of that. And you're going to follow suit with him and Tiffany Henyard and be in the forgotten pile of politic history. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment.
So there's a motion on the floor to delay this vote till May 21st. There's a subsequent motion to lay that motion on the table. Madam Clerk, thank you very much for making the technology available for the motion to lay this vote on the table. So in other words, if you vote yes to lay this motion on the table, you wish not to accept a motion to delay this vote until May, and then you wish to return back to the initial motion for the passage of this item. Alders, please use your e-vote application to record your vote at this time.
The voting is now open. The voting is now open. Please use your e-device. The voting is now open. This vote is for the motion on the table. Correct. Lay on the table. Correct. I will now call on those for a voice vote. Alderman Hopkins. Hopkins is a no. Alderman Yancey. I can't move past you, no. I can't move past you. If you're here, I have to take the vote. Alderman Yancey is a yes. Alderwoman Coleman.
Yes.
Coleman is a yes. Alderman O'Shea. O'Shea is a no. Alderwoman Taylor.
Yes.
Taylor is a yes. Alderman Irvin.
Alderman Irvin votes yes.
Irvin is a yes. Alderman Talaferro.
Yes.
Alderman Talaferro is a yes. Alderman Villegas.
No.
Villegas is a no. Alderwoman Haddon.
Yes.
Haddon is a yes. Have all of those voted who wished? Haddon is a yes. Okay, the voting is now closed.
For state law, there are 25 yeas, 25 nays per state law. In the event of a tie, the chair, president of the body is allowed to cast a vote, and I am an aye. This motion passes. The chair recognizes Chairwoman Dow.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be brief. I want to say three things. One, I think we all agree that infrastructure is very important in the city. It's crucial. And this bond issuance does just that. It provides infrastructure for our current and future residents. And it's the foundation of what makes this city great. I think the second thing I want to say is that, we have to be able to adapt. And this bond is an example of adaptation. One, it talks about a bond limit up to a certain amount. We may spend less, we may spend much less. Secondly, the bond issuance offers the flexibility necessary to ensure that at any given point, we can right size or mold the repayment schedule so that it benefits our communities at its maximum level. And we can do that while ensuring that not a single cent of this money goes to anything besides infrastructure. I guess the last thing I want to say is, people keep comparing this to a mortgage. We're not mortgaging the future of our children. In fact, we are building the roads that they're going to use and having them pay their fair share to use these roads like they do today is good public policy. So with that, I would urge the body to vote yes on this bond deal so that we can move our city forward. Thank you.
Question has been called here for the passage of this item, again by roll call vote. Does that still stand, Chairwoman Dow? That motion still
Yes, I'm
carries?
sorry, Mr. President. I move the motion to call this ordinance for a roll call vote.
Very well. Thank you, Madam Clerk, for providing the technology today. Alders, please use your e-vote application to record your vote at this time.
The voting is now open. The voting is now open. Please use your e-device. The voting is now open. Please raise your hand if you need any help. The voting is now open. I will now call on those who have not used the e-device for a voice vote. Alderman Yancey, not present. Alderwoman Coleman.
Coleman is a yes.
Coleman is a yes. Alderwoman Taylor.
Yes.
Taylor is a yes. Alderman Irvin.
Alderman Irvin votes yes.
Irvin is a yes. Alderman Talaferro.
Yes.
Talaferro is a yes. Alderman Villegas.
No.
Villegas is a no. Alderwoman Haddon.
Yes.
Alderwoman Haddon is a yes. Have all those voted who wished? The voting is now closed.
There are 26 yeas, 23 nays. This motion passes. Alderman Mitchell, on a motion to reconsider.
I move to reconsider
All
the
those
vote.
in favor of the reconsideration of the vote signify by saying aye. Any opposed, say no. No, the motion fails. For miscellaneous, Alderman Mitchell, anything?
Mr. President.
I believe it's
I'm
right,
not unfinished.
just the date and time of the next meeting. Is that correct?
Except for the ordinance setting
Yep.
the date and time for the next meeting, I'm not aware of any miscellaneous.
Very well. For the date and time for the next meeting, Alderman Mitchell.
I've handed up an ordinance to the clerk setting the date and time of the next
Very
meeting.
well, thank you much. Madam Clerk, please read the ordinance.
Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Chicago, the next regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Chicago shall be held on Wednesday, March 12th, 2025, beginning 10 a.m. in the council chamber on the second floor, City Hall, 121 North LaSalle Street, Chicago, Illinois. This ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after its passage. Gregory Mitchell, Alderman, 7th Ward.
Very well, Alderman Mitchell.
The omnibus.
Alderman Mitchell.
I move that matters in the omnibus be passed by the first most favorable roll call vote by the Committee on Rules and the associated unsuccessful motion to reconsider.
Hearing no objection, so ordered. On the omnibus, Alderman Mitchell.
I move that matters in the omnibus be passed by the first most favorable roll call vote by the Committee on Rules and associated unsuccessful motion to reconsider.
Hearing no objection, so ordered. Alderman Mitchell on the motion to adjourn.
There being no further business before the body, I move that we adjourn.
Hearing no objection, so ordered. This meeting is adjourned.
Listen, man.